Hey everybody, welcome back to part 2 of the best exercises for chronic lower back pain. We are the FitHealth Pros.
Yes.
I'm Coach Sean.
I'm Dr. Kevin. And so we all know that at some point in our lives we're going to have low back pain. We're talking about chronic low back pain, and like we explained in the previous video, the type of pain that's going to be nagging for more than 3 months. And we know that after that 3-month period, it's very hard to really take care of on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
So we put together these 2 videos. The first one focused on the Swiss ball exercises. It used some instability, worked the core. Check it out. I'm still
shaky.
I'm still a little shaky from it. So as I do these, just know I just did a bunch of Swiss ball exercises.
He's
too.
already looking for...
Yeah. It's my excuse. My story. I'm
It's
sticking
not
with
an
it.
excuse, it's a reason.
Yeah, but no, I feel taller, stronger in the back, and that's the whole key here. Today we're doing floor exercises, so welcome, enjoy, follow along, take notes.
Jumping right into floor core stabilization exercises. We're looking to activate the core, the glutes, the hamstrings, basically all of the secondary helper muscles that need to be doing the work that the lower back tries to jump in and help with. Well, if you have a chronic condition, the last thing you want is for your back to jump in and say, I got this.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's going to cause spasms, and it's going to send you to Dr. Fox or myself to
Right.
remedy it.
So that was so key, what Coach Sean just said. So that is that little golden nugget about the stabilizing muscles and then the larger muscles jumping in. We don't, to have those muscles jumping in all the time, that's where the injury occurs.
Yep, that's the quick hitter.
Yeah.
So we're on these, we're looking to just hold for 5 to 10 seconds. So that's your time under tension, and maybe do 5 to 10 reps if you are in a flare-up. Basically whatever's tolerated. Whatever your back will allow you to do, you want to do something. You want to do some kind of range of motion here, and that's what these are. Let's jump into it. Number 1, pelvic tilts.
Pelvic tilts on the floor.
On your back. All right, so here you're going to have your feet raised into a 90-degree angle. So it's like sitting, lay on your back, your feet flat on the floor. Sorry, I'm going to go back. Okay, so let's jump into it. Number 1 is pelvic tilts.
Here we go.
We got, you're laying back with your feet flat on the floor, and you are flattening your lower back into the floor by tilting the pelvis. So, just nice and easy, kind of abdominal hollowing at the same time.
I'm lifting my head up, but it's not a crunch. I'm just supporting my neck.
Right.
If I arch my back, it's exactly opposite of arching the back.
Right.
So
we're pressing the back into the floor by bringing the pelvis up and forward. And again, 5 seconds, 10 seconds max on these. These will wear out pretty fast because there are smaller muscle groups working here.
Yep, just dropping right here, pushing that down.
There it is.
All right.
All right, number 2, dead bug.
Dead bug.
So he's back on it. This is where we jump in with putting our legs into a table. Basically a 90-degree angle at the hips and at the knees. So from here, a beginner dead bug is just basically tightening your body against the ground with your arms, and one leg slightly comes forward from the other. Boom. And boom. Just nice and easy. From there, the arms are going to come up while the legs are in the table. And as one leg comes out, the other arm presses straight up. And up. And every progression here gets a little bit harder. So you're not going to necessarily be doing a lot of repetitions on this, especially if you have some inflammation going on. Now, eventually, as your core gets stronger, as the pain goes away, you can make that a little harder by the arm kind of coming up and the leg coming out but that is for much more advanced than what we're doing right now.
Right.
Okay, so number 3 is also a tricky one for Dr.
Right.
This one's a tricky one for Dr. Fox because he has very tight shoulders.
Yep.
But he's going to be laying flat on his stomach.
Here.
There you go. Arms are going to be straight out in front. And you're going to raise one arm and the opposite leg. Now don't overextend on this. Just nice and easy coming up. You're going to have a contraction in the glute, and you're also going to get a contraction in that opposite shoulder and in the core at the same time. Now, as you can see, Dr. Fox isn't coming up that high. Now, if you come up too high, that activates the lower back, and that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for these muscles that are supposed to be contracting, not the lower back kind of compounding what's already going on with it.
Yeah.
So, how you doing on that one? Woo!
Well, this is our second take run through, so
Right.
a little sweat.
So
all good.
always check in on yourself whenever you're doing these exercises. If it gets to be too much, rest. You know, don't overdo it on any of these exercises, especially if you're in pain.
Right.
Right? So next up, we got the bridge, back on the back,
Back on the back.
feet flat on the floor. And on this one, you're raising the pelvis into the air and you're trying to make a straight line basically from the back of your shoulders to the back of your knees. So in doing so, major glute activation. If you press your heels into the ground, that's going to make sure that you are contracting those glutes. Just nice and easy. So it's nice and easy up and nice and easy down. And again, it doesn't take more than, say, 5 seconds to make sure these glutes are contracting.
Good.
Nice. Next up, crunches.
All right.
So crunches, you're on your back. We'll start with the feet flat on the floor. You are aiming your breastbone toward the ceiling. Nice and easy. So you can either put the arms straight up, you can have the arms in back of your head, but make sure that your nose is in line with the breastbone as it's going up toward the ceiling.
I'll bring that head forward.
Don't bring that head forward. That puts the cervical vertebrae into peril, so you want to be careful with that. But this is going to hit that upper ridge of the rectus abdominis. So next up, you can just kind of bring your feet off the ground. So not necessarily into a full table, but now come up. You'll notice.
Yeah, and you talked about contracting first, which I can contract here and then bringing it up.
Right, that'll help protect the neck as well. Because if you contract your core first before coming up into that crunch, you know that the core is doing the work and it's not just the arms pulling the head forward to complete the crunch. So we always want to protect that neck. And then you can go into a full table, which is 90 degrees with both the hips and the knees. And that will help activate the lower ridge of the core a little bit more. Not heavy duty, like say flutter kicks or anything like that, but it does activate it. And as you can see with Dr. Fox, this takes more.
Good.
Nice. Next up is a side bridge, or what's called a side plank. Now, if you have shoulder issues, I do not recommend this, especially if you already have something going on in the back. Because if you have a shoulder issue and you get into this plank and then it's uncomfortable, well, your body's going to shift and that lower back is going to engage. We don't want that.
So we're going to do our best with this one. A lot of times, because the upper crunch is kind of the thing that you can, like a lot of people can do hundreds of those. It's not very fatiguing.
Right.
So what they'll do is they'll fatigue the lowers and the sides first and finish with the uppers.
With the uppers.
So I'm kind of...
He's already fatigued at this point.
I'm setting...
This is our fourth time through abdominal exercises.
Setting this up. Here we go. Side plank.
Side plank. So he's basing it on his forearm and he's got a straight line by raising that hip up. But you want a straight, you don't want to overextend. You want a straight line from your armpit down to your foot. So his foot is actually on top of his other foot. You can also, if you need, put this foot further up.
Yeah, about right there. Stabilize there as well.
Other hand can stabilize as well, and then press up. If you're having some heavy duty issues with your lower back, this might be the way to
And
go.
you can kind of play with that to see where you're feeling it. You know, this is kind of a cheater system, but
But if you're in full-on inflammation,
Yeah.
sometimes you need that cheater system in order to be effective. So next up would be standing squats.
Sure.
These can be tricky if you have the lower back pain going on as well, because you've got your feet about shoulder width apart, and you're sitting back into a chair that's not there. Now, if you have some heavy duty inflammation going on, you may only be able to go like a quarter, just enough to activate these quadriceps and lightly activate the glutes. Now, if you go into it halfway, that activates a little bit more. You got a little bit more hamstring, quadriceps, and glutes going on. Now, when you go all the way into that 90-degree angle, you don't want to go lower than 90 degrees. That's going to more greatly contract all of those muscle groups. And basically, when I'm working with any of my clients, no matter what the move, I'm like, go ahead and contract those core muscles.
Yeah.
You know, because that's going to help stabilize the whole move overall. It's going to make sure that when you go back, you're not coming too far forward. Again, putting a little bit of peril on that lower back.
Yep.
So last but not least, definitely not least, because this is a great exercise. This is the 4-point quadruped. You're kneeling on all fours, and then you will straighten the right arm and bring the left leg out at the same time. Just nice and easy. Bringing it straight out, and at the same time utilize that abdominal hollowing. So tighten that core so that as this glute contracts on this side, you're also making sure that core is nice and strong and ready to go and taking some of the pressure off that lower back. Again, this is another one that you can possibly overextend on and activate that lower back, so you have to be really careful about how high you're raising that leg.
Right.
You know, just to be really careful.
Those other ones you were talking about.
And then also when I'm working with my clients, this is not on the board. This board can probably be hard to read for you guys because I'm in front of it, and I end up writing a bunch of stuff, so it's kind of hard to see. We're actually going to have a copy of this board down below this video, so
Yeah.
you can click on that and get the whole shebang with all the exercises and what to do as well. But I'll also have my clients do some cows and cats. I'll have them do some, so basically you're bringing it up and then bringing it down, and be very careful with the transition. A lot of time if the lower back is inflamed, it'll be that transition in between these two that can get a little tricky, so just nice and easy with it. And also some reachers where you're, again, in that quadruped position, you're just reaching underneath. Nice and easy back and forth, and you can feel it on the opposite hip of where you're reaching to.
And I kind of threw the leg in there too.
Yeah, when you get to a point where it's a little bit less inflammation going on in your back and you want to strengthen, that's an advanced level to be able to do as well. So, wow, that was a bunch. So that was video 1 was Swiss ball exercises. If you didn't see that, please go back and watch that. Very important. And then this was all floor core stabilization exercises, and I think we covered it for now.
That's it. Please like and subscribe. Hit that bell so you get the next videos that are coming out.
Definitely.
And
We're the FitHealth Pros.
yeah, I'm Dr. Kevin.
I'm Coach Sean.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming along for the ride. To happy healing. We are looking at part 2 of the
One more time.
Hey everybody!